We're on. Welcome back. This is John Locke, and today I want to talk a little bit about 301 redirects and 404s when it comes to doing a big overhaul or migrating your site. Now, there's a couple reasons why I'm making this video today. So the number one reason is I've noticed a lot of people in digital marketing recently doing site migrations or overhauls of their site or rebranding. And sometimes they're taking one site and porting it over to another website, or they're taking two websites and they're smushing it into one site. And what I have noticed a lot of time is there's some broken links and you are hemorrhaging backlinks to your site, which will hurt your overall authority over time. When websites hyperlink to your website, that helps your overall authority and your overall SEO. For many, many years, most SEO consultants have believed that Google has factors in its ranking algorithm that take into account the link profile of a site, meaning what types of sites are linking to you, whether they're categorically related to your website. But not only that, how many links in total, how many links from different sites, and the overall composition of your overall link profile. So it's probably more advanced than what some of the SEO tools show, but basically suffice it to say, all you need to know is if you're getting a hyperlink from a website, or if you have had a link from a website in the past and you've changed your domain name, or you've migrated your site, or you're moving stuff over from one site to another, you want to preserve as many of those backlinks, what we call backlinks, but hyperlinks from other sites that are not your own. Preserve as many of those as possible because it's going to help your SEO. And I can account to this in several cases before in the past. I've had clients come to me, they've launched a new site, or they have a new domain name, and they let their old domain drop, and we pick up the old domain and redirect it toward the new site. So those old links, those old hyperlinks from other sites which were out there, were reclaimed, and then they were pointing back at the destination site, and boom, SEO goes back up. Second reason I wanted to talk about this too is just this morning I saw a thread on SEO Twitter. I'll try and link it down below in the show notes, but many SEOs were talking about what was this nightmare situation or whatever that happened with SEO, where you were trying to do something and someone in the client organization or someone that was allied with the client organization was impeding the progress of this SEO project. And many people in this thread were mentioning things that were related to 301 redirects. Now, 301 redirects, again, are a permanent redirect. If you have an old domain that you've changed, you'd want to go to your domain registrar and just forward that domain to your new domain, and then do any necessary URLs, redirects from your new site, to make sure that if somebody's clicking on an old link to an old site or an old URL that you had 10 years ago, that it goes somewhere. You don't want to lose links. You don't want to hemorrhage out links. Some of the examples that I saw people talking about, one person was saying that there is an e-commerce site where the client was basically saying all these products that we're not offering anymore, that we had links to, no, we don't want to redirect those, and they were hemorrhaging backlinks. They were losing backlinks like crazy, and their rankings were going down because they're losing all these links from all these other sites. Oh, we don't offer that anymore. It doesn't matter. You still have a link from this other website. Some people were saying that a couple of people said this, where the client did a site migration and it's like, oh, Google will figure it out. We don't need to like 301 redirect anything. Google will figure it out. And it's like, Google didn't figure it out. It's, you can launch this new site, but it's basically a brand new domain in Google's eyes. This is something to keep in mind. If you have a brand, like let's say it's Lockdown SEO. We'll just use mine as an example. But way back in the past, when I first launched this, it was lockdowndesign.com. Now, when I changed the domain name to lockdownseo.com, just imagine if I had just let that old domain drop and just said, oh, Google will figure it out. I would have lost probably half of my backlink profile if that had happened. Now, imagine that that's your brand. Let's say that your brand is acmebrands.com and you're changing it to just acme.com, and you let that old domain drop. You don't redirect it to the new domain, and you just say, oh, Google will figure it out. Well, Google won't, and you will lose a lot of your backlinks because Googlebot has an infinite memory, and any URL that it has found in the past, it's going to try and crawl again. And so let's say that it goes to all these different websites where you have links. Maybe you don't even realize that you have all these backlinks from all these different sites. But Googlebot goes there, it tries to crawl it. It's a 404, it's a page not found, file not found, page not found. It's a 404. So basically, after a while, it says, okay, this is a dead link. It doesn't go anywhere. So this link profile power just keeps decreasing over time. So this, the third reason too, this is just a really bad user experience. If you have all these 404s, if somebody's on an old site, maybe you had an interview with the CEO on some site, 8 or 9 years ago, and somebody's reading that, somebody finds it and reads it, and they, click, oh, let's go to acmecore.com. And they click on it and it's, 404, that page doesn't exist. That site doesn't exist. It's just a terrible user experience, and it gives the wrong impression just even from a user experience. Any old domains that you've had in the past, you want to keep and redirect it to your current domain. Any URLs that you're changing on your site, if you're just like deleting content, I don't know why you would do that, and especially on a longer, more established site, you would want to redirect it somewhere. You don't want to just like have it drop into nothingness. So these are just some things that I wanted to talk about when it comes to 301s and 404s and having dead links, because link rot is real. Links can go away on their own over time. Sites where you had a link in the past, it could basically that site can go away, or the webmaster can change a page and like you could lose a link like that. But for the most part, you want to hold on to as many backlinks and hyperlinks from other sites as you possibly can, because that's going to be beneficial for your SEO. It's going to be beneficial for your brand. Yeah, don't bleed out those links. It's not a good idea. If you're doing a site migration, if you're doing a rebranding or anything like that, have a plan in place. Have a spreadsheet with your old URLs and then what they're redirecting to. And if you need somebody internally to do that, to help with that, somebody on your team, marketing team, or whatever you have to do. I mean, that's probably the best way, is having a spreadsheet where, any individual URLs that are changing. If you're just 301ing one domain to another, and the rest of the URL is not changing, you should be okay. But if any other part of the web address, what we call the URL, is changing, then you need to have a plan for that. So don't lose those backlinks. Anyway, my name's John Locke. My business is Lockdown SEO, and I'm here about once a week. I would love to see you subscribe. If you have a question, leave it in the comments below. I'll do my best to answer. And that's all I have for now. And until next time, peace.